At the beginning of the drama, we see our female lead, Song, sitting in her class with her head bowed, trying her best to avoid attention. When the teacher calls her name, she slowly straightens up and walks to the board with the presentation she has prepared. For Song, even this simple task feels extremely difficult because everyone will be looking at her. She has always lived apart from the other girls, and her underconfidence makes every moment feel heavier than it should. As she reaches the front, Song raises her head slightly and becomes frightened by the eyes of the students staring at her. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, we see our male lead, Jong, doing a photo shoot with a model named Rim. The photographer, however, begins focusing only on Rim, almost completely sidelining Jong. This annoys him, and when his friend No takes a picture of him on his mobile, Jong makes silly faces and tells him not to upload the photo anywhere. Rim then walks up to Jong and tells him that he should not have left the spot because she wanted to take a couple photo with him. Jong replies coolly that it's okay, this is her moment, and he does not want to interfere. With that, he gets up and walks out. Back at school, Song is finally released after classes are over. On her way home, she walks past a dress shop display. A stunning dress catches her attention, and she wonders whose destiny this beautiful dress might belong to. Just then, a gorgeous girl passes by, and Song imagines that girls like her are the ones who wear dresses like that. Suddenly, Song drifts into a daydream where she imagines herself wearing that dress, glowing with confidence, before snapping back to reality and realizing it was only a fantasy. As she continues walking, she arrives at a busy area where a group of friends is hanging out. One of them, Sia, is sketching another member. Song's eyes are drawn to a handsome guy among them, Choi. She stares at him for a moment, thinking how incredibly good-looking he is. To her surprise, Choi's gaze also lands on her, making her panic and turn to leave. But Choi walks toward her and politely asks if she can help them. By standing still for just 3 minutes so they can complete their sketch. Song can't believe that such a handsome boy is asking her for help. She hesitates, unsure, but when Choi gently requests again, she agrees. Meanwhile, her friends Nina and Aina are calling her non-stop, growing frustrated when Song doesn't pick up. As she stands in front of Choi's group, Song becomes extremely nervous. The members whisper that she looks innocent and shy, and it seems like her first time doing something like this. Choi looks at her and quietly apologizes without shaking her hand. Song understands his subtle gesture and blushes. She tells herself that if standing for 3 minutes helps Choi, she could stand for even 300 minutes. When they finish, the group thanks her and hands her the sketches before leaving. Nina and Aina finally reach her and look at the sketches. Most are half-finished or oddly drawn, making them laugh. Just then, Choi returns and hands Song the sketch he personally made. It is beautifully drawn, and he tells her that if she is interested in sketches, she can call him anytime. He asks her name, and Song shyly tells him. Choi smiles and says he will never forget her name before walking away. Nina and Aina stare at Choi's sketch in awe. They tell Song that he is unbelievably handsome and that she should definitely call him. Later, the three of them sit at a cafe, and her friends continue insisting she should call him right away. Nina takes her phone to dial the number, and Aina gives the phone to Song, urging her to talk. Yao Choi picks up and immediately says her name, making Song smile nervously. He asks if she would like to join their sketch group called Spirit Fingers. Song hesitates and tells him her drawing skills are not good. Choi replies gently that it doesn't matter whether she draws well or badly. As Song turns the phone away in embarrassment, Sia asks Choi if the new member is coming or not. Choi guesses that Song is simply feeling shy. To reassure her, he sends a message with an official invitation to their group, and tells her she can join whenever she feels comfortable. He also sends the address where they usually meet. Later that night, Song goes home and tries to study, but her mind keeps wandering back to Choi and the unexpected interaction she had with him. Just then, her mom enters the kitchen, takes some things out of the fridge, and asks Song to turn the fridge off. Then Song notices a strange smell coming from the fridge. She opens the window to let in some fresh air. Feeling a mix of curiosity and anxiety, she takes out her phone and checks the profile of Choi's sketch group. Her eyes fall on Choi's profile picture, where Sia is beside him. Seeing this, Song wonders if Sia might be Choi's girlfriend. She hesitates for a moment, but then accepts the group invitation Choi had sent her. Soon after, she receives a message inviting her to meet the group on Sunday. The next day, Song's mom drives her to tuition. On the way, she gently scolds Song, saying she doesn't have to live like an overly cautious woman, she's still young and should enjoy her youth like other normal girls. Song, feeling a little frustrated, replies that it's her mom's fault for making her this way. Her mom responds with promising to help her get guidance and personal support so she can focus on her studies. By the time they reach the tuition center, her mom drops her off and leaves. Later, while at the mall's restroom preparing for tuition, Song begins doing her makeup. At that moment, a group of bold girls approaches and starts teasing her after noticing her appearance. Panicked, Song pleads, "Please, let me go." But the girls forcibly start reapplying her makeup, mocking her. Flashbacks flood her mind, showing that Song had always been fragile from childhood, often suffering from stomachaches, back pains, and repeatedly failing at various tasks. The memory of being weak and inadequate weighs on her. As the flashback ends, the girls drag Song to a mirror and laugh at her reflection before leaving. Left alone, Song thinks to herself that she is completely useless and foolish. Just then, Jong appears hurriedly and hands her a tissue, asking if she's okay. Frightened, Song reflexively offers him money. Jong quickly refuses and gestures for her to wait there while he steps aside to the restroom. Song feels confused. Why should she listen to a stranger? Shouldn't she just leave? After a brief moment, Jong returns, smiling, and says, "You were really waiting, weren't you?" Song replies, bewildered, "But you told me to wait!" Jong laughs heartily and teases, "You really can be so naive sometimes." Song glares at him in embarrassment. Jong then says seriously, "I saw the girls harassing you. You need to stand up for yourself." Song hesitates and asks, "But how do I do that?" Jong explains that she must meet their eyes confidently and speak assertively to increase her chances of winning the confrontation. He demonstrates by blinking rapidly, making Song think he has gone a little crazy, and she starts to walk away. Jong calls out, stopping her, "You can't leave like that!" Exhausted from trying to imitate his advice, Song takes a deep breath. Jong hands her back the tissue and tells her firmly, "When you know you're right, you have no reason to be afraid." With that, he leaves. Feeling a renewed sense of confidence, Song straightens her face and begins smiling as she heads toward the address Choi had given her. On the way, Choi texts her, "Are you coming?" She replies, "I'm on my way." Meanwhile, Jung meets his friends No and Lee and informs them about the 3 girls who harassed Song at the mall. He explains that they are friends of Rim and new models. They are happy to see him. Jung warns them, "I saw you guys bothering a girl at the mall. That was not right." Finally, Song reaches the cafe mentioned in Choi's message. At the counter, she is told that the sketch group is behind the blue gate. Excited, she opens the door and imagines Choi sitting at a piano, playing softly. One of Choi's friends interrupts her thoughts, asking, "Why are you standing there?" She comes back to reality, and another friend adds, "Don't worry, you can come in if you want." The whole group warmly welcomes her. Sia explains, "Choi and I started this group first, and then we gradually added everyone. We identify each member by a color. You'll notice that our group has people of all ages." Everyone begins introducing themselves. Seeing the group's warm welcome, Song becomes emotional and starts crying. Saya immediately asks, "Did we say something wrong?" Song shakes her head, "No, I just felt moved by your kindness." The members hug her gently, and she marvels at how unusual and kind-hearted these people are. After a while, the group assigns a color to Song. Choi chooses baby blue for her. Song smiles and says softly, I really like this color. From then on, she adopts the nickname Blue. Just then, Jong appears, and Song instinctively hides her face, worried he might recognize her. Jong gently brings her face forward and asks teasingly, Are you shy about your age? Song shakes her head, denying it. He playfully scolds her for being late, taking her outside briefly before they both return. The group then begins posing one by one while others sketch. Song finds it difficult to produce anything herself. Seeing this, Choi reassures her, Don't worry, today is your first day. Song looks at him, her curiosity and nervousness mixing, and quietly asks Hyun about the process. Someone is sitting nearby, watching videos on their phone. Hain tells the group that a model is present today, and that she will demonstrate poses for them to sketch. Meanwhile, Jong steps forward and removes his shirt. Seeing this, Sia immediately scolds him, insisting he put it back on, much to the amusement of Hugh and Kim. Another member, Dong, suggests that today, Song and Jong should pose together in a couple's stance since they are both around the same age. Everyone likes the idea, leaving Song speechless. Hesitantly, she stands beside Jong but hides her face with her hands, thinking of Joey and smiling softly. Jong leans closer and teases, You already know me, don't you? Startled, Song reacts instinctively, accidentally hitting Jong in the face, causing his nose to bleed. Shocked at what she's done, she runs out of the room, worried that Jong might reveal to everyone what happened at the mall with those girls. As she frets, Jong angrily follows, but the group members intervene and stop him. Later, Song sits in her room, thinking about Jong. Checking her phone, she notices a message that confirms Jong has become a permanent member of Sia's modeling group. Shocked, she starts typing a message saying they don't need a model, then decides to unsend it. She begins typing something else, but sets the phone aside. Suddenly, a message from Jong pops up. Do you want to die? Frightened, Song hesitates to respond, and when she ignores him, Jong assumes she is deliberately avoiding him. He sends message after message, frustrating Song and making her feel guilty. While reading, she notices how poorly Jong spells words, considering the size of the school they attend. Meanwhile, Jong checks his phone carefully to ensure it's functioning properly. Seeing Song's odd behavior, Lee assumes Jong has gone a little crazy. Jong then borrows Lee's phone to check messages, confirming his device is fine and the Wi-Fi is not the issue. Lee tells him, For the first time, someone is ignoring you. Angered by Song's silence, Jong begins calling her repeatedly, but she doesn't answer, leaving him frustrated and exhausted. Lee takes a photo of Jong in his exasperation. Meanwhile, Song regrets ignoring him and imagines Jong speaking gently, telling her not to overthink and that she should see him with confidence next time. The next morning, Nina and Ina meet at the bus stop to go to school and notice Song arriving late. They start teasing her, but Song reassures them that she is okay. On the way, she shows them Jong's incessant messages, commenting that he seems obsessed. She then turns off her phone to stop the messages. Arriving at school, Song worries about telling Nina and Ina what happened with those girls, fearing they will think she is weak. Meanwhile, Jong, Lee, and No Fret in the forest, shouting Song's name because she hasn't replied to messages. At the cafe, Choi carries food and drinks for Sia. Happy, she begins eating. When her friends arrive, Sia goes to talk to them, which makes Choi slightly upset. Choi messages the group to remind them that today is the meeting day. She informs Song and instructs her to bring a sketchbook so Choi can guide her. They plan to meet on Wednesday. Afterwards, Choi suggests they eat first. Both sit at a nearby restaurant enjoying their meal. Jong, from outside, notices Song and watches her nervously. Song becomes scared when she sees him. Jong enters and sits in front of them. She signals for him not to mention the mall incident in front of Choi. No way, Jong doesn't understand at first, so Song asks, Why didn't you reply to my messages? She realizes he has come to talk about the matter, so she and Jong step outside. Song apologizes, and Jong angrily says, "I'm not sorry for you. You've ignored me a lot." Song scolds him for poor spelling, asking if he doesn't want to write correctly. They argue until Joey signals Jong. Agreeing with Song, in the next scene, everyone is sitting and sketching. Jong says, "I want to join your sketch group too." Sia reminds him he once hated drawing, but Jong insists he now enjoys it. Sia asks the group who supports Jong joining. Everyone, except Song, agrees. She steps outside the cafe. Jong follows and tells her he joined the group to correct his spelling because he discovered she is the smartest in the group. The members playfully drag him on. Jong tells his friends that Song apologized to him, making him laugh, while they wonder why he's so happy. Song imagines herself standing confidently, realizing she doesn't need to fear Jong and can show him who she is. Inspired, she messages Jong, "Let's forget the past and be friends." Excited, Jong replies that he wants to meet her the next day, clarifying that it's not a date, but to learn spelling from her. Song agrees, but the next day remembers she has to go to the store with Choi, so she lies and says she is unwell. She then goes to the store with Choi, takes the sketchbook, and prepares to leave just as Jong arrives. Seeing Song with Choi, Jong approaches and says, "You said you were unwell." Shocked, Song starts running away. Jong follows, calling out, "Why did you lie to me? If you didn't want to meet me, you could have said so. Why did you need to lie? And now that you've been caught, you shouldn't have done it." Hearing this, Song gets angry and retorts, "You're the one in the wrong. I didn't want to meet you, so I had my reason. You shouldn't be angry at me." After saying this, she walks away, but regrets having spoken to Jong so harshly, thinking she may have overreacted, even though Jong wasn't really at fault. The next day, the sketch group goes on a picnic. Seeing Song and Jong upset, the others realize they had a fight. They ask Choi about it, but she says she doesn't know. Sia turns to Jong and scolds him, "I didn't arrange this picnic for you to waste it." Playfully, she starts hitting him, but Han intervenes. "You shouldn't do this. Talk to them first. You might be able to end your fight." Song and Jong then approach each other. Song apologizes for her behavior. Jong responds, "I understand. You didn't want to be friends with me because you're such a good student and I'm dull." Song asks, "Don't your parents say anything?" Jong says they don't mind, but adds, "Your parents probably have high expectations because you're so smart." Song humbly replies, "I'm just average." Jong reassures her, even average people can be great, making Song laugh. He adds, "I have a reason to be friends with you. Find your own reason too." On the way, Song messages Jonggo to apologize for lying and plans another meeting. Jong is thrilled and tells his friends. The next day, Song and Jong explore several places together, then arrive at a cafe. There, Song sees the girls who had harassed her at the mall and starts to leave in fear. Jong stops her, saying, "You don't need to be afraid anymore. You're not the same as before, and I'm with you. Go teach them a lesson." Gaining confidence, Song enters the washroom where the girls are. They tease her, "Do you spend a lot of time here?" But Song ignores them, mocks them instead, and walks out, leaving them furious. Seeing the girls, Jong intervenes and takes Song outside. Song looks at Jong and smiles. Later, the group meets again, each in a different dress code. Choi steps out to take a call. Sia follows and hugs him, startling Choi and causing him to stumble. Sia leaves angrily. Song eats sweets and Jong joins her, keeping his eyes on her. They finish the sweets together. Everyone notices and whispers, "What's gotten into him all of a sudden?" Afterward, everyone heads home, but Song and Jong linger, watching the others. Meanwhile, Sia pretends to sleep at her spot. Choi enters, notices her, and teases, "I know you like someone else. I saw it on your phone." Choi leaves and Sia opens her eyes. Song heads home and Jongging follows. She stops, turning to him. Jong approaches and asks, "Do you like Jong?" Shocked, Song doesn't respond, which angers Jong, prompting him to leave silently. It becomes clear that Jong has feelings for Song. The next day, Song tells her friends about this. The mirror asks, "How did he react?" Song replies, he got angry. Ina speculates, maybe he was worried because Sia and Choi like each other, and he thought you might come between them. Perhaps he likes you. Song refuses to believe it. Later, Song goes to the cafe to meet Jong. She says, last night you asked me a very strange question. I've come to answer it today. I don't like Choi, but were you angry yesterday? Jong replies, I wasn't angry if you didn't like Choi. He leaves, and Song realizes she has learned how to lie well. Her imagination whispers, you've lied convincingly. If you keep it up, you'll master it. Song feels bad, thinking she doesn't want to lie to Jong. Meanwhile, Jong texts, saying he won't attend the next group meeting due to urgent work. Sia and Choi continue working on their computers. At one point, Sia accidentally drops her foot under the table, hurting herself. Choi checks her head, relieved there's no injury. Sia's juniors arrive, and she introduces Choi to them. The female juniors praise him, and a conversation begins. Choi, bored, walks away, which Sia notices, realizing he is upset. After bidding goodbye to the juniors, Sia remarks, they look great together, don't they? Choi doesn't respond and leaves. Okay. Later, Song reads messages from the group where everyone asks her to select the next theme and mentions that next time she'll do a makeover. Knowing this, Song feels upset. Song goes and calls Jong. Seeing this, Jong becomes happy and shows his friends, saying, she was calling me today. She wasn't ignoring me. Then he leaves his game and starts talking to Song. Song tells him, this time I want to decide the theme for the group. Jong smiles, no worries. You just choose the theme you like. Hearing this, Song relaxes and says, I knew I could talk to you. I feel really good talking to you. And my hesitation disappears. I don't know why, but you bring me luck. Jong becomes emotional. Song then asks, weren't you really angry that night? Jong replies, I wasn't angry. You didn't like Choi, right? Song stays silent, and Jong says, see? I wasn't angry either. Then disconnects the call. Song feels happy and messages her theme idea to the group. Meanwhile, Lee and No secretly overhear Jong's words and whisper, why are you angry with Song? Does she like Choi? Or do you like Choi yourself? Are you keeping her away from him? Both start drifting away, so Jong goes after them. Next, Song waits for the group. Sia, Kim, and Han arrive and take her to a dress shop. They look at various dresses and ask her to try them on. Song happily changes dresses, showing them to the group. Her eyes catch a shirt dress, and she tells Sia, I like this one. Song tries it on, becomes happy, and the group takes selfies to send to Jong. Song's hair and makeup are done, giving her a completely new look. Meanwhile, Jong is doing a photo shoot with Rim. Rim grabs his hand, so Jong leaves the shoot and sits aside. He sees the photo Sia sent of Song's new look, is surprised, and asks his friend how many dresses are left. He quickly finishes the shoot and rushes to the cafe without changing. Song stops Jong by calling out, you said you had work. How did you come? Jong replies, I finished early, so I came. At the same time, Choi praises Song's new look, making her happy. Seeing this, Jong becomes jealous, grabs Song's hand, and takes her into a room. Sia comes in, asking Choi about Song's look. Choi says, you look great, and drapes his jacket around Sia's waist. Sia, annoyed, removes the jacket and returns it to Choi. They begin making sketches. Song sits next to Choi, but Jong says, this is my place, and moves her aside. The group poses one by one, and sketches start to appear. They attempt a sketch of Jong and Song together. Song hides hers, saying, I don't know how to draw. Choi reassures her, no one draws perfectly. Go. Everyone has a different style. You'll learn. Encouraged, Song starts showing her drawing. Jong takes it and mocks it, upsetting her. Later, Dong and Kim show their poor sketches, lightening the mood. Song sits with them happily. Choi guides Song to make a couple drawing with him. Song is happy, but Jong becomes jealous and says, I'll do it, taking the stage with her. Song feels frustrated, but Choi gestures reassuringly. It's okay. Just live in the moment. Song smiles. Jong covers Song's eyes and poses with her. Afterward, Everyone reviews the drawings and is pleased. Song pretends to go to the washroom and leaves, Jong following. Song angrily says, "I know why you're doing all this. You think I'm trying to get between Sia and Choi, but I like talking to you, not interfering. Stop bothering me. And yes, I like Choi." She walks away. Jong is upset. The next day, Song is at school when Jong texts her to invite her to a cafe. She goes, excited to see him. Choi arrives and explains that Jong's health deteriorated suddenly, so he sent Choi in his place. When Jong calls on Choi's phone, Choi hands it to Song. Jong tells Song, "You can go on a date with Choi. He and Sia are just friends. Sorry for last night. I shouldn't have controlled you. Don't worry and enjoy with Choi." He disconnects. Song goes to lunch with Choi. Jong hides behind a wall, watching her. Later, Song and Choi leave, and Choi gets a call that Sia is drunk. He tells Song, "I have urgent work. Go ahead, I'll catch up later," giving her his jacket. Song replies, "Don't worry. I'll see you at the next meeting." Song and Jong walk together. Jong teases, "I know since morning that I'm following you, but you're acting oblivious. I like that." Song laughs, "You don't have to do all this for me. I'm fine. And forgive me. I was rude last night." Jong says, "No problem. I was also at fault." They start playfully arguing. Meanwhile, Choi goes out to pick up Sia, who is drunk. He carries her on his shoulders. Song talks to Jong, then gets scared when she sees her mother approaching and hides behind a tree. After her mother leaves, Song relaxes. She notices Jong's hand on Choi's chest, removes it in shock. Jong grabs her hand, saying, "I understand. You can't like Choi." Song angrily responds, "I hate you," and runs away. Jong feels upset and runs off. Choi takes Sia to a medical shop and gives her medicine. He asks how she feels. Sia says she never wanted a relationship with him and always considered him a friend. Choi replies, "I don't want to just be friends forever. I need your company." Remembering Jong's words, Song smiles in her room and goes to her mother. Song remembers Jonggang's words where he told her, "You call me very beautiful." She tells her mother, "Someone called me beautiful." Her mother replies, "You don't need to pay attention to these things." Song responds angrily, "Why do you always talk to me like that? I admit I don't look perfect and I don't know everything, but that doesn't mean you should talk to me like this." Her mother says, "You should at least be like your brother in studies." Song gets even angrier. The next day at school, Song shows her drawing to Nina, who praises her. At that moment, some classmates approach and say, "We want to make our own drawings too." Song hesitates. "I don't know how to do this. I'll just try." Nina encourages her. "It'll be fun." Song starts sketching. Meanwhile, Mira comes to call Nina to play, but she sees Song busy and leaves upset. Lee goes to check on Jonggong and finds him in a very bad state. They dress him in the plastic bag he always sleeps in. No suggests taking him to the hospital. Lee insists he needs a brain specialist, so they take him to see a doctor. The doctor examines Jonggong and says he is stressed about something. Jonggong remembers Song and becomes worse. They bring him home. No tells Lee call Song and talk to him. Lee replies, "Look at his condition. He has no obligations to Song, yet the ghost of his feelings hasn't left his mind. It's worse now." Jonggong asks them to check his phone. Lee finds no messages or calls from Song. Jonggong screams in frustration. At school, Song continues drawing with Nina. Mira notices them, but Song remembers she is late and apologizes, leaving. Ina asks Nina, where is she going so suddenly? Nina replies, she went to class to finish her drawing. In class, Song resumes drawing, but she remembers Jonggong's words, which distract her and ruins her work. Classmates are surprised. Meanwhile, Jonggong, with his friends, says, "Enough is enough. I'm going after Song." He prepares for school to meet her. Song gets scared when she sees him and starts running. Jonggong catches up and stops her in front of the school. He says, "Why did you need to come here? Don't you know how embarrassed I am?" Song replies, "Will you only think of yourself? I came to meet you and say sorry. I realized I was wrong. I shouldn't have said what I did." Nearby, their friends watch, wondering what they are talking about. Mira comments to Nina, "Jonggong isn't even as good-looking as after editing." Her eyes then go to Lee. His friend is more handsome than Jonggong. No looks at Nina, saying, "I like that long-haired girl." Lee comments, "She looks like a class topper. She wouldn't value you." Mira turns to No angrily. Meanwhile, Jonggong tells Song, "I want to marry you." Song punches him in anger, causing him to faint. Their friends are shocked. Ina tells Song, "I also want to be part of your sketch group." Nina explains she can't because she's not a member. Ina insists, "I'm Song's friend." Song pauses. "Okay, I'll ask him." Nina whispers to Mira, "You can't do what you want. You can't become a model there." Ina responds, "I'm just trying to help Song with drawing." Song overhears and angrily says, "What did you just say? Say it again." Ina clarifies, "I was joking." "Why are you so angry?" Song responds, "This isn't a joke. It takes effort." Ina angrily leaves. Jonggong's friends advise him, "You shouldn't have talked about marriage directly. Ask her about the date first." Jonggong cries, saying, "I expressed my feelings. I shouldn't have done that." Lee and No call Sia, explaining that Jonggong is unwell because he likes someone, but that girl rejected him. Sia starts dancing, then asks who the girl is. Jonggong doesn't tell her, asking her to leave instead. Sia gets angry and hits him, then falls asleep on Jonggong's bed. Next morning, Jonggong picks up Sia and tells her to get Lee and No because they need to go to school. Sia leaves after seeing this. Meanwhile, Song meets Mira and says, "You shouldn't always talk to me like that. Being my friend doesn't mean you can say anything you want." Mira replies, "But you never said anything. If it made you feel bad, you wouldn't speak up." Song responds, "Just because I don't speak doesn't mean I don't feel bad. The truth is, I feel very bad, even if I can't tell anyone." Hearing this, Ina gets angry again and leaves. Song is sitting in her room, thinking about Mira. Just then, her younger brother Main comes to eat, and Song calls him over to ask about her friends. He replies that he doesn't have friends because their mother, said that any kind of relationship is a waste of time. And Song asks, "Why are you asking all this all of a sudden? Did you fight with your friend?" Song doesn't respond. The next day, Nina meets Ina and explains, "I only saw Song angry once when my parents divorced, and I was very upset. I was going to go to school with my friends, but Song tried to stop me. I yelled at her, and since then she has never been angry. But today you made her angry, and she couldn't control herself." Hearing this, Mira becomes emotional. Later, when Nina meets Song, Song tells her, "I have to apologize to Mira, or she might break off our friendship." Nina reassures her, "You don't have to apologize. It's his fault. Give him time to realize his mistake." She asks if Jong made any calls or messages. Song says no, but mentions he shouldn't have asked about marriage, but I know he can ask about it. Nina responds, "What are you saying?" Song explains, "He once told me I was beautiful, but how could that be? All girls are beautiful." Nina suggests, "Maybe he just thinks you're beautiful." With that, Nina leaves. Meanwhile, Jonggong is busy with a photo shoot. Song texts him and calls for a meeting. Overjoyed, Jonggong goes to see her. Secretly watching her, he smiles and says, "She is very cute." Song approaches and asks, "Hey, what are you doing?" Seeing her, he controls himself. Song stops Jong by calling out, "You said you had work. How did you come?" Jong replies, "I finished early, so I came." At the same time, Choi praises Song's new look, making her happy. Seeing this, Jong becomes jealous, grabs Song's hand, and takes her into a room. Sia comes in, asking Choi about Song's look. Choi says, "You look great," and drapes his jacket around Sia's waist. Sia, annoyed, removes the jacket and returns it to Choi. They begin making sketches. Song sits next to Choi, but Jong says, "This is my place," and moves her aside. The group poses one by one. and sketches start to appear. They attempt a sketch of Jong and Song together. Song hides hers, saying, "I don't know how to draw." Choi reassures her, "No one draws perfectly. Go. Everyone has a different style. You'll learn." Encouraged, Song starts showing her drawing. Jong takes it and mocks it, upsetting her. Later, Dong and Kim show their poor sketches, lightening the mood. Song sits with them happily. Choi guides Song to make a couple drawing with him. Song is happy, but Jong becomes jealous and says, "I'll do it," taking the stage with her. Song feels frustrated, but Choi gestures reassuringly. "It's okay. Just live in the moment." Song smiles. Jong covers Song's eyes and poses with her. Afterward, everyone reviews the drawings and is pleased. Song pretends to go to the washroom and leaves, Jong following. Song angrily says, "I know why you're doing all this. You think I'm trying to get between Sia and Choi, but I like talking to you, not interfering. Stop bothering me. And yes, I like Choi." She walks away. Jong is upset. The next day, Song is at school when Jong texts her to invite her to a cafe. She goes, excited to see him. Choi arrives and explains that Jong's health deteriorated suddenly, so he sent Choi in his place. When Jong calls on Choi's phone, Choi hands it to Song. Jong tells Song, "You can go on a date with Choi. He and Sia are just friends. Sorry for last night. I shouldn't have controlled you. Don't worry and enjoy with Choi." He disconnects. Song goes to lunch with Choi. Jong hides behind a wall, watching her. Later, Song and Choi leave, and Choi gets a call that Sia is drunk. He tells Song, "I have urgent work. Go ahead, I'll catch up later," giving her his jacket. Song replies, "Don't worry. I'll see you at the next meeting." Song and Jong walk together. Jong teases, "I know since morning that I'm following you, but you're acting oblivious. I like that." Song laughs, "You don't have to do all this for me. I'm fine. And forgive me. I was rude last night." Jong says, "No problem. I was also at fault." They start playfully arguing. Meanwhile, Choi goes out to pick up Sia, who is drunk. He carries her on his shoulders. Song talks to Jong, then gets scared when she sees her mother approaching and hides behind a tree. After her mother leaves, Song relaxes. She notices Jong's hand on Choi's chest, removes it in shock. Jong grabs her hand, saying, "I understand. You can't like Choi." Song angrily responds, "I hate you," and runs away. Jong feels upset and runs off. Choi takes Sia to a medical shop and gives her medicine. He asks how she feels. Sia says she never wanted a relationship with him and always considered him a friend. Choi replies, "I don't want to just be friends forever. I need your company." Remembering Jong's words, Song smiles in her room and goes to her mother. Song remembers Jonggang's words, where he told her, "You call me very beautiful." She tells her mother, "Someone called me beautiful." Her mother replies, "You don't need to pay attention to these things." Song responds angrily, "Why do you always talk to me like that? I admit I don't look perfect and I don't know everything, but that doesn't mean you should talk to me like this." Her mother says, "You should at least be like your brother in studies." Song gets even angrier. The next day at school, Song shows her drawing to Nina, who praises her. At that moment, some classmates approach and say, "We want to make our own drawings too." Song hesitates. "I don't know how to do this. I'll just try." Nina encourages her. "It'll be fun." Song starts sketching. Meanwhile, Mira comes to call Nina to play, but she sees Song busy and leaves upset. Lee goes to check on Jonggong and finds him in a very bad state. They dress him in the plastic bag he always sleeps in. No suggests taking him to the hospital. Lee insists he needs a brain specialist, so they take him to see a doctor. The doctor examines Jonggong and says he is stressed about something. Jonggong remembers Song and becomes worse. They bring him home. No tells Lee call Song and talk to him. Lee replies, "Look at his condition. He has no obligations to Song, yet the ghost of his feelings hasn't left his mind. It's worse now." Soon, Song receives a message from Mira. She rushes to meet her and, upon seeing her, hugs Mira tightly, crying. They sit down and end their fight. Mira explains, I was jealous because Nina is the school topper and popular, while you are just a common girl like me. But Jong came into your life, and he likes you so much. Song smiles and says, "It's a good thing you can express your emotions. I can't say anything like that." They hug again. At that moment, Ina asks Song, "What happened between you and Jong?" Song replies, "I don't like it, but how do you manage all this?"